Hey, everybody, this is Dr. Craig Kasper from NYHD and the Institute for Hearing and Balance. We're based in New York. And like most of our friends and our patients and our family, we're all kind of stuck indoors because of what's going on with coronavirus. But we didn't want to have that hold us back from sharing some valuable information and insights with all of you out there as it relates to hearing and balance related questions. Myself, Dr. Naim, and Dr. Zweig have been answering questions over the past couple of weeks, specifically related to those topics. And today I have Dr. Naim. Hey, how are you?
Again. How are you?
Good. So you actually have a friend with you today.
I do. Can I show you guys?
Of course.
This is Lola.
What's up, Lola? We always have the conversation because I have a Lola also, but my Lola could probably eat your Lola.
Probably.
Yeah, your Lola's probably what, about 4 pounds maybe?
11.
11.
Yeah.
Mine is like 63.
Oh, wow.
She's a big girl. In any case, that's not what we're here to talk about today.
Right.
So what we're doing is we're answering questions from, common questions we get in the practice on a day-to-day basis, as well as some of the questions that people have kind of shot our way through the info@newyorkhearingdoctors.com email. And today I have a question for you, which I think is really interesting because it's something that we all kind of face from a question perspective on a regular basis in the practice.
Right.
The question is, what factors come into play when we talk about speech understanding?
So I actually get this question a lot from my patients, specifically patients who come to me and say, I'm having to ask people to repeat themselves a lot. And the first thing that we, of course, look for is whether there's any hearing loss or not. And a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times, it turns out that those people actually have normal hearing. And I sit with them and I go through the audiogram and I explain the different things that are involved when it comes to kind of understanding what's being said when someone's talking to you. The first thing, aside from hearing, is our word recognition ability. And that is how we're able to process speech. So when we send the signal from the ear all the way up to the brain, because that processing is happening in the brain. And that we test in quiet in the sound booth. The next step that's actually involved is how we're able to process a noise. Now, some people, it's easier for them to process a noise than others. And there are ways that we can actually test for that. It's called the Quicksin. It's a test where we present different sentences in different varying levels of noise, and we ask you to repeat the words back or the sentences back. Now, again, for example, I myself have normal hearing, and I can be sitting with my 5 best friends that I've known for a long time. But for me, I find myself, it's much harder for me to process in noise, especially we're in a restaurant. For some reason, New York City, more ambient noise makes it a better restaurant, dim lighting, music in the background. I find myself kind of leaning closer and zoning in on their lips. We all read lips, but again, if someone processes different in noise, or it's harder for them to process in noise, when you add that background noise, our ability to understand what's being said becomes much harder. The other thing is that if we're not paying attention, so attention is actually also involved in this as well. If someone is just talking and kind of saying, oh, I went to the supermarket today and I'm not paying attention, I have to turn and go, hey, wait a second, what did you say? Where did you go? So again, attention is also definitely involved. And the fourth thing that I usually say is sometimes it's not the listener, it's actually the speaker. If the person you're speaking to, they're turned away from you, or they're speaking softly, mumbling, speaking too quickly, it's much harder to understand what's being said. So just to kind of put that all together, the first thing, of course, is to make sure that there's no change in your hearing. But at the end of the day, it's not just your hearing that's involved in understanding conversation and anything like that.
Yeah, I think those are really important points because a lot of times we do see those normal hearing patients and they're still having difficulty. And as you said, oftentimes it's not their hearing. It could be what's going on in the environment. It could be the way that someone is speaking to them, soft or turning their back. We have a tendency to get lazy with our speech oftentimes, especially when we're with somebody on a day-to-day basis,
Right.
where we might not speak to communicate. And that's what we talk to patients and their spouses, significant others, kids, etc., is we have to understand that it's not just about the person who we believe might have a hearing loss. It's about how we're communicating with them and how we're articulating and speaking to communicate.
Exactly, exactly. So now imagine all those situations where you have background noise, and the person is kind of turned away, and then there's also hearing loss on top of it. It's much, much harder. So like you said, we do have to speak to spouses and significant others to just say, okay, in the beginning, you might need to slow it down, face them, let them read your lips, just so that they're learning how to hear again.
Yeah, that's actually a really interesting point too, because oftentimes it's not just about the volume. Speaking specifically about somebody who has hearing loss, let's say, it's
Right.
not about the volume. A lot of times, what we'll hear is I yell at my husband, wife, and they still don't understand what I'm saying, and it's because it makes it worse, actually, right?
Right. Absolutely. So sometimes when we increase the volume, we're actually causing some distortion. So that's why, like you said, they say I'm raising my voice and they still don't understand me. That's not what they need. They don't just need volume.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure. Really important points. Thank you so much for sharing that today, Dr.
of
Naim.
course, of course.
So for everybody out there, as we've been saying, if you want to send us some questions, you can send it to info@newyorkhearingdoctors.com. If you want more information about myself, Dr. Naim, or our colleague, Dr. Zweig, you can visit us at newyorkhearingdoctors.com, and we'll be happy to share any information that we can through that website. And if you want to reach out to us, we are also happy to speak with you as well. So thanks for all that information today, Dr. Naim.
My pleasure.
Be safe.
You
Enjoy
too.
your time with Lola.
Thank you. I'll see you soon.
We'll talk soon. Take good care. Bye bye.
Bye.